Hi, I'm Richard Bopholtz with Law Plus Plus. Today we're going to talk about name searching before you file your articles of incorporation or organization with the North Carolina Secretary of State. So, what is a name search? A name search is the process of making sure that you can legally use the name that you want to use. How do we go about doing this? Well, first, we're going to go to the North Carolina Secretary of State's website. On the North Carolina Secretary of State's website, sosnc.gov, you're going to go and click the search for a business. And you want to type in your exact company name. If it comes back and says no results found, that's a great first step. After that, you want to try some common misspellings or common alternate spellings of the words you have in there. If it still comes back with no results, great. That's the first step done. The second thing you want to do is check assumed names. That's also on the Secretary of State's website. And you want to do the same process. Check for your exact wording, and then check for common misspellings and other spellings of the words inside of your name. After that, if everything's still good, you want to head over to uspto.gov. That's the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, and you're going to run a trademark search on not only the exact name and common misspellings and common alternative spellings of the words inside of your desired company name, but you're also going to want to do any sort of search that involves changing letters to characters. You want to use common foreign word alternatives for the name. So instead of cheese, you have queso. So you want to search both of those if cheese is in your name. You also want to search anything that would be considered substantially similar. The standard is likelihood of confusion, and so you want to find anything that might lead a consumer to confuse your company with someone else's company. Now, fortunately, trademarks are an industry by industry limitation. So if you find someone who's using the same or similar company name, but they do something entirely different than you, you're probably okay. What you want to do is make sure that there is no chance that someone's going to think that you and this other company are the same company or are associated in any way. I always find it's helpful to bring in a third person to help make that determination. Ideally, it's going to be a lawyer because they have a duty to do what's in your best interest, and they have the experience of dealing with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. However, if you do use a non-lawyer, a friend or a family member, make sure it's one that is going to give you honest feedback and not one who's going to just try to agree with you to help you move forward on your trademark, on your business. I always find that people who get really invested inside of a business name will find any excuse they can to decide that it's not substantially similar. So the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office part of the name search is actually going to be your most intensive one unless you have a completely unique word. A completely unique word, like Google was, actually is a really convenient way to get through the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office quickly because there's not going to be any common misspellings of the word Google when Google was originally founded. The next step after the USPTO is you want to also search the North Carolina State Trademark Office. This is again on the Secretary of State's website, and you want to do the same thing you did with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. If nothing comes back, you get to move on to the final step, and that is using a search engine. My search engine of choice is Google, but you can use whatever one works best for you. The reason I use a search engine as the last portion is because it might catch some things that you wouldn't have caught in these other areas. So there may be a company that's been using this mark for a considerable amount of time, but they never registered with the USPTO or the North Carolina State Secretary of State's Trademark Office. So it might help you catch some of those. And this other business might have what's called a common law trademark, which does provide them some protections. The other thing that it helps do when you search on a search engine is you might find that there are other connotations to your name, or there's bad branding out there that you have to overcome. Now, you don't want those. It's not a legal thing. It's not going to hurt your ability to open your business. No one's going to come after you for bad branding, but what they are going to do is not come to your business if there's bad branding. You don't want someone to Google your company name and find all these bad things on the first page. What you want is your company to be the top of the first page. Now, I'm obviously not a branding expert. I stick to the law, but it's an important step that I like to bring to the attention of all my clients. Just because I'm already there, I'm already making sure they're not infringing on someone's trademark. So if all 5 of these places come back and there's no conflicts, or you're okay with the limited conflicts that there are, you don't think it's going to be a problem, then you can file with the Secretary of State's office. Now you file it on your articles, you put in your name, and also when you're doing the e-filing, you fill in the name before you submit your articles. The Secretary of State will take its time and review just their name filing system to make sure that you're not conflicting with someone else's name. Now, it's important to know that the Secretary of State's office is not going to search trademarks for you. They're not going to search Google for you. So if the Secretary of State says it's fine to use the name, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a legally valid name. What that means is there's not a one-to-one match on the Secretary of State's website. You could still be infringing on someone's trademark, and that's why it's vitally important for you to take your time on the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office and the North Carolina Secretary of State's Trademark Office to make sure that you're not infringing on those marks. Now, it may seem like it's a lot, but if you've done it a few times, a name search can actually go pretty quick. The key part is just figuring out all of the different spellings and using characters instead of letters, things like that with the Patent and Trademark Office. You start recognizing the kinds of words that are misspelled frequently or have different spellings or have replacement words more often. And so once you get those down, you're pretty good to go. I hope this has been helpful. This is what a name search is. This is North Carolina's Secretary of State's recommendation for name search as well. I'm Richard Bopholz. This is Law Plus Plus. Thank you for watching. Please, if you like this video, like it, subscribe it, comment on it if you have any questions, and I look forward to hearing from you.